It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors Southwest.
Hi everybody and welcome into the show. Hey, I want you to do a simple thing for me. Go to the internet and do a Google search for crappie capital of the world. What are you going to find? Well, the #1 search result is going to be Weiss Lake in northeast Alabama, and that's where we are today. This lake is absolutely loaded with crappie, and it's got lots of folks fishing for them. To help us out today, we've got a good friend of mine, fishing guide Lee Pitts, who's going to show us around the lake a little bit, give me my first taste of the lake, and show us how to do a very predominant technique used here in the Southeast very effectively to catch crappie. It's called long lining. I'll show you the gear and the equipment you'll need to do it with, and you might want to try it on your favorite lake, or you might want to make a trip here to Weiss Lake. We'll tell you all about it the upcoming half hour, along with all your latest fishing reports from your favorite lakes, rivers, and saltwater bays. So let's get this thing started. Back at the FSN studios, here's your weekend planner.
Overall, the Salooner tables are predicting poor fishing conditions across the region for the weekend. The best times are expected to start a few hours before sunrise in the mornings and again later in the afternoons. Look for the sun to rise at 7:10 and set at 7:50, and evenings will showcase a crescent moon that is 34% visible. Stay with us, we're coming right back with fishing updates from around the Southwest. Plus, I'll return with professional angler Stacy King on the Waterburger Ask the Pro.
Hey, thanks very much. We've made it out onto Weiss Lake on a beautiful day right now, and I want to show you something. We are set up right now in one of the most incredible zoos of boats you've ever seen. Back at Lake Texoma, they call this the Striper Boat Show. Well, this is the Crappie Boat Show. You can see there are tons of boats all ganged up, and they're along a main creek or river ledge. What they do is they just follow the migration of these crappie. In the spring, they follow them up shallow where they spawn. On towards summer, they'll follow them back out along the drop-offs and river ledges. And all of these boats are just migrating where these crappie are moving throughout Weiss Lake. Now, I've never done this before, but we're gonna try a technique that they use up here. Most of these boats are long lining. It's a form of spider rigging where we're going to be using multiple rods and rod holders. I'll show you how that works in just a couple of minutes. It's going to be a fun day. Stay with us. We'll be right back to Weiss Lake to get started fishing right after this.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Mercury Marine, celebrating 75 years of marine excellence. By Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability. By Tracker Boats, it's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. And by Fort Worth Nissan. Fox Sports Outdoors is powered by Fort Worth Nissan.
Got him, all right. Oh, that one's got one too. We got doubles. Look at that rod too. We got two crappie going on here. Let that one fight for a minute while we land this one. And that would be a keeper, but not real big. So we're gonna let him go back there real quick. Grab this one. Reel this one in. Welcome back, everybody. Glad you're on the show today. We're at Weiss Lake, which is up in the northeastern corner of Alabama. And we are doing a technique today called long lining. And it's like spider rigging. You can see right in front of me here, I've got my rod holders out. And these are the Be Ready rod holders. And they'll hold 4 rods apiece. Now here at Weiss Lake, I'm gonna have to pull that one around my power pole back there. There it comes. That's a little better fish right there. All right, that's a halfway decent crappie there. There's your Weiss Lake special. All right, anyway, you're only allowed 3 rods per person at Weiss Lake, so you can see we've got these rod holders out. And what we're doing is using the trolling motor to control our depth, and we're fishing off these river and creek ledges. And let me switch the boat around here where you can get a better look down here at what's behind us. As I showed you a minute ago, there are probably 100 boats out here fishing today. and they're just all long lining, trolling up and down these river ledges. And they're all back here behind me, and you'll see them in just a second. But what we're doing is having these rod holders out, using the trolling motor. We're trying to keep the speed at about 0.7, 0.8, or 0.9 miles per hour with a little small 1/24th ounce Bobby Garland Mo-Glo jig head. We'll show you all the rods, all the reels, line, the tackle at the end of the show. But this shows you what we're doing, and we're just slow trolling with the trolling motor up and down these river ledges. Everybody just gets in line and follows each other, and lots of crappie in this lake. And Lee Pitts is our guide. I'll give you some information about him in just a little bit, but they've been catching huge limits every day with guide customers here on Weiss Lake. Lots more to come. But right now, let's get you started on some fishing reports from your region. Let's start off in Texas with Brian Hughes in freshwater, followed by Bill Olson in saltwater.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by More Security, the exclusive distributor in our viewing area for heritage safes. Now More can not only pick out the safe that'll fit you and your budget, but they'll handle delivery and installation as well. Now this week I got a chance to go and do some striper fishing on Lake Texoma, and let me tell you, it was fantastic. Great amounts of fun to be had if you know where to find the stripers. And to find the stripers, you have to find the bait. Now we were fishing in water I thought was incredibly shallow for stripers because we were in 10 to 15 feet of water all throughout the day. However, if you go into these back bays and don't find the bait fish there, you're not going to find the stripers either. You need to make your way back out toward the main lake until you connect with the bait fish. And the lures we were using were an Alabama rig with Bass Assassins, but the Alabama rig was stepped up. It was a steroided Alabama rig made by a local guide. They should be available in a saltwater configuration, or you can find them from some of the guides there on Lake Texoma. But don't try to use the Black Bass Alabama rig. These stripers will just tear that up. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by More Security and Heritage Safes. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island, the fishing capital of Texas, where anglers enjoy pristine bays, estuaries, 18 miles of surf, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Plus the local restaurants will even cook your catch come sundown. Come fish and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit portaransas.org. Well, cooler than normal weather persists along the Texas coast. Temperatures are running at least 3 weeks behind where they should be this time of year. Now that means speckled trout are simply remaining in or near deeper water around channels, jetties, or holes, and holding off the shorelines in water 5 to 7 feet on most of the coast. This time of year, the Texas coast sees considerable water temperature differences, and that results in different patterns. For example, Port Isabel anglers will find water that is warmer and fish moving up to the shallow depths more quickly than they will on the upper coast around Sabine, Galveston, or Matagorda. Shrimp have started showing up on the lower coast, with trout scattered all over the bay from south of Cullens and around the color line from the convention center northward. Longbar has trout hitting live shrimp or voodoo shrimp under a mauler. Redfish are also showing signs of becoming more active on the flats. Now around the Isabella Causeway and most jetties all the way to Galveston and Sabine, we're seeing good sheepshead activity, and the black drum run is becoming more active around the Texas City Dike. On the middle coast, trout are holding off of Quarantine, Dagger, and Stebbin Islands in slightly deeper water. Either side of the JFK Causeway, the crash channels are holding trout. Redfish have been fair and scattered. This weekend, both Saturday and Sunday have a single tide schedule of 1 high and 1 low tide each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
There's one, he's got it, he's got it, he's got it. All right. There's another Weiss Lake longline and crappie. Welcome back, everybody. Glad you're on the show today. Coming to you from the northeastern corner of Alabama at Weiss Lake, the crappie capital of the world. Self-built from the sign. In fact, we'll show you the little sign at Center, Alabama, which is kind of the home of where all the Weiss Lake action happens here. Using our long lining technique with our rod holders, using a Motor Guide Tour Edition trolling motor. There comes a good, decent crappie. He's fat too. Crappie are just feeding on shad, moving up and down these ledges right here. And you just keep this little Bobby Garland jig slow trolled down in front of them. And the speed is the key here. You got to be watching your electronics, watching your GPS and your sonar, and keeping that speed at just the right speed depending on where you want it. Now, these fish are suspending. I haven't caught many suspended crappie, but they're actually not on the bottom. They're up suspended halfway between the top and the bottom. That one got bit too right there while I was just talking. So that's why the depth is so critical. The faster the speed, the higher the bait rides up in the water, and the more you slow it down, the more that bait settles down to the bottom. You experiment around, figure out the depth, and once you catch a couple, then you're locked in for the rest of the day. All right. Let's get things set back up here, and if you want to book a guide trip here, Lee Pitts is the guy to call. He's got, he stays on top of the migration of these fish. They migrate from the creek and river channels in deep water up on the ledges and then up on the flats, depending on if it's spring or going into summertime or even in the fall. He can not only guide you for crappie here at Weiss, but he can guide you for bass, both spotted bass, the famous Coosa River spotted bass, and all the lakes up and down here, Weiss, Neely, Henry, Logan, Martin, Lay Lake. He can put you on those as well. And they've even got a pretty decent striper fishery in some times of the year as well. So you can call him or email him at the number you see there on your screen. All right, let's get you some more fishing reports going on right now. Let's check in first of all here with Gary Dallahan in Oklahoma.
Hey, with this crazy roller coaster ride of weather we have going on in Oklahoma, our water temperatures are behind where they would normally be at this particular time of the year, at least according to the calendar. But you know what? We're starting to see some improvement now. We're starting to see some warm up in the shallows, especially in the extreme southern part of the state. As a result, we do have some crappie coming to the banks. But you know what? Those fish that are down deep don't know what's warm up on top yet, so you can also still catch fish in the depths. That's exactly what Mike Taylor has been doing down at Lake Okmulgee. Here's what he said about his technique.
What we've been doing out here is just trolling out over the main part of the lake and going over these ditches and these trenches and finding large schools of shad. And when you find the shad, this time of the year, there's usually some fish in it. Here comes some right here. Nice ball of shad right there, right in that ditch. And there'll be some crappie and usually some small white bass in there this time of the year right here. There's some more. There's some fish, some nice size crappie and probably a couple of white bass right there. And we'll turn back around, drop our jigs right on them.
Now what Mike and Patrick were doing on this particular outing was they were in the main lake channel areas looking for depths of at least 35 to 40 feet deep and looking for balls of shad to show up on the sonar. They'd find them, they'd throw a marker buoy out, and they would fish vertically in that bait fish. They were double rigging with a Bobby Garland baby shad swimmer and either a minnow minder or 2-inch slab slayer. Best colors were lights out, black hot pink, black chartreuse. They were also doctoring those baits with Moglo slab jam. The bite was fun, aggressive, and they caught good numbers of fish. Most productive were the river bend areas and especially those close to some spawning banks. Our crappie are on the move in the state. Get ready for some fun time in the weeks ahead, but one thing about it, you can't catch them if you don't do it.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Costa Sunglasses. See what's out there. By Luz, setting a new standard in fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Strike King Lures, #1 in fishing. By Lowrance Electronics, find, navigate, dominate. And by Whataburger. Try one of Whataburger's all-time favorites, 24 hours a day.
There we go, right here. All right, we got one of them. Come in here, buddy. That feels like a little better fish. Oh yeah, look at this. Okay, there's what I came 13 hours from my house to do right there. There's one, oh, another one's getting a bite too, I think right here. We're gonna let this one go back. That's a good crappie right there. Welcome to Weiss Lake, everybody. Oh, that one got off. Doggone it, I had two at once. Well, we're out here long lining, trying to catch some crappie at the crappie capital of the world. And one thing you see that I'm doing is I'm using long rods. And I've got the big 10-foot Mr. Crappie Slab Shaker rod out one side, and I've got the Wally Marshall Signature Series rod out the other. show you those in greater detail at the end, but we're doing that because a lot of times when you're going through here, these fish will move out of deep water, pull up on the flat, and they'll be in fairly shallow water, 6 or 8 feet deep. A lot of times the boat coming through will spook those fish. They'll move off to the sides, and when they do, if you've got a long rod sticking out there, you'll come right through that little pod of fish that's sitting there, and that's exactly what happened there, and I got 2 bites in one little pod. All right, let's give you some information about Weiss Lake if you've never been here. It's in the far northeastern corner of Alabama, near the Alabama-Georgia border. It's near the towns of Center and Cedar Bluff, and it's again dubbed the crappie capital of the world. It's a 30,000 surface acre lake. It's fed by 3 main arms, the Coosa River, Chattanooga River, and the Little River. The lake was impounded in 1961. It's 45 miles long. It's got 337 miles of shoreline, 37 marinas, so there's lots of easy lake access. It's got 11 bridges that cross it, and it's got a shallow average depth of about 10 feet. It is noted for its crappie, as you're seeing us fish for today, but it's also got a great population of spotted bass, the famous Coosa River spotted bass, largemouth bass, and some stripers as well. Let's go right now to Cajun Phil over in Louisiana.
Hi friends, Cajun Phil here with your Fox Louisiana Fishing Report. I tell you what friends, I just got off the phone with Captain Kevin, Captain Sean McCrae, Captain Dane Viator. They're all out there on Calcasieu Lake right now. All 3 of them already have their limit of redfish, and it's only 8:45 in the morning. I tell you what, as far as the rest of the state goes saltwater fishing, talk to Tofil Bourgeois. Tofil's flying his plane. He's going down to the Chandelier Islands on a float plane trip. They're wade fishing. They're catching lots of 20, 24, 25-inch trout right now. I also talked to Captain John Fallerman. Captain Fallerman's been doing good down in Slidell. He's actually just trolling along the bridges and catching some really good speckled trout right now. As far as big fish goes, we've been getting so many reports of the big tuna coming off of Venice right now. Almost every boat I call, I don't care who it is, they're coming in with big old yellowfin tuna right now. They're catching them, 100, 125, 145 pounds. But yeah, they're getting a lot of 60s and 80s also, but they're getting some really big yellowfin tuna. If you like yellowfin tuna fishing, you need to contact old Cajun Phil. I'll put you in touch with some guides that's going to put you on them. As far as the bass fishing goes, all across the state seems to be doing pretty good right now. Talked to some guys up on the Atchafalaya Basin. They were saying that the water's been moving pretty good. The tide's been moving daily. Whenever the tide starts moving, it's throwing little bitty tiny crankbaits. They're catching them all around all the points. They're throwing that crankbait. They said chartreuse color's been working really good. Also crawfish color's been working good. Until next time, it's Cajun Phil for all the guys out there in the water right now. Catch a speckled trout, redfish, saying, "Woo, come on down and get you some."
Hey, our sweepstakes for the month of April is going on right now, and some lucky winner is going to win one of the best sonar GPS units Lowrance has ever invented. It's the Elite 7 GPS charting technology, traditional 2D sonar and 3D sonar, all in the same unit. You can split that screen 3 ways and see them all at the same time. Plus, someone else wins a brand new Lew's BB1, the longest casting bait cast reel ever, plus a bunch of motor guide gear, shirts, and fishing hats. To enter, go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com or our Facebook page. Get entered now. Contest ends at the end of April.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. By Motor Guide, trolling motors engineered for anglers. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Welcome to the big leagues.
Welcome back everyone. It's time for one of your questions to be answered by a fishing professional on the Whataburger Ask the Pro. This week Larry asks, do people fishing from the shore stand a chance to honestly catch a big fish? And if so, when? For the answer, we checked with professional angler Stacy King.
You know, back when I was a kid, I used to fish off the bank all the time before I had a nice bass boat to get out in the middle of the lake and fish, and I caught lots of quality bass off the bank. It's easy to do, but typically it has to be done at the right time of the year when the fish are around the banks, and you have to use lures that'll work in a situation like that. So, you know, the best time is in the spring and the pre-spawn and the spawn and post-spawn. And sometimes if you're fishing like a pond or a smaller body of water, even in the summertime, is a good time to fish off the bank. But you can catch big bass off the bank because I've proved it many times over the years.
Thank you, Stacy. If you would like one of our pros to answer your question, just visit our website, click on the Ask the Pro link, and send us your information. Now let's see who wins a pair of brand new Costa sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
Hey everybody, we've made it back to the boat ramp after a great day of fishing on Weiss Lake in northeastern Alabama. It's time right now for the Costa Catch of the Week. Here's your winner for this week. He is Joe Sarita of Austin, Texas, showing off a 10-pound largemouth bass he caught out of Lady Bird Lake in Austin, Texas, and he caught it on 6-pound test line. And if you'd like a chance to win your very own brand new pair of Costa sunglasses and enter your big fish in our contest, just go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. On the right-hand side of the front page, click in the Costa Catch of the Week area, follow the instructions, send us your big fish photo, and you could win your very own brand new pair of Costas like the pair that I wore on this week's episode, double haul in the camo color. And you can see all of the Costa frame and lens styles at their website. All you have to do, again, is go to our website, click on the Costa logo. You can see all the frame styles and lens styles there. This week on the Academy Right Stuff feature, I want to show you some of the gear that you'll need if you want to do some of this long lining technique like we caught the crappie on this week's show. First of all, you need a couple of good rod holders. These are good stainless steel rod holders. These are the Be Ready style. Now, Wally Marshall has a good set out. There are several good ones on the market. Atwood makes a good set. Just find yourself a good set, sturdy set of rod holders. Next, you'll need a long pole. This is the Wally Marshall Signature Series crappie pole. This is a good length. It's 11 feet long. I also used a slab shaker, a Mr. Crappie slab shaker rod that's 10 feet long as well. And I love the Mr. Crappie Solo Reel. It's a great line holder, a great crappie reel for this long lining technique. Now, as far as the baits that worked well today, this is the Bobby Garland Mo Glow jig head in a 1/24 ounce size. And on the back of that is a plastic bait by Bobby Garland called the Slab Slayer. That's a June bug and chartreuse color. Now, the other color that seemed to work well in the same size, 1/24 ounce head, is a blue color, the blue Slab Slayer and a chartreuse tail. You troll those at about 0.8 or 0.9 miles per hour, and that keeps them about 6 or 7 feet deep. I feel so sorry for the people who have to get up every morning, hate their jobs, and dread going to work. I learned a very important lesson as a young man at the beginning of my career, working for a man named Warren Potash, who was the general manager at WBAP Radio in Dallas-Fort Worth. He taught me, find something that you enjoy doing and then figure out a way to earn a living doing that. And I've been so blessed to enjoy a 29-year career in broadcasting and fishing. Here are some keys to finding that dream job of your very own. First of all, you've got to dream big, have a goal in mind. Secondly, be willing to do the hard work, get an education, learn that skill. And then thirdly, be willing to take a risk and get out on a limb. But I can speak from experience in telling you that those risks are well worth the reward, the carrot at the end of the rainbow. Hey, I enjoyed our trip today to beautiful Weiss Lake in northeastern Alabama, almost all the way to the Georgia border. If you'd like to book a guide trip here, here's the information again. To book Lee Pitts, he can take you out there, get you on some of these crappie or also on some of the spotted or largemouth bass in this lake as well. Thanks for joining us. Until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.